What if the very things we take for granted, our daily routines, small habits, or even trusted health advice, were quietly sabotaging our chances of living a long life? Most people assume that making it to 80 depends on luck, genes, or avoiding major diseases. But what if I told you that many older adults are dying not from obvious illnesses, but from subtle, preventable forces hiding in plain sight? Here's the disturbing truth. A 2023 study published in The Lancet Healthy Longevity found that nearly 38% of deaths in people aged 70 to 84 were due to what researchers called modifiable lifestyle triggers. These weren't heart attacks or strokes alone, but the slow, compounding impact of stress, underdiagnosed inflammation, nighttime dehydration, and even misused supplements. You might be doing everything right, taking your vitamins, walking daily, eating reasonably well, but still falling into one of these traps. For example, most older adults take calcium to protect their bones. But one groundbreaking trial from the British Medical Journal showed that calcium supplementation without adequate vitamin K2 may actually increase the risk of arterial calcification, hardening your arteries instead of your bones. Then there's the silent issue of sleep architecture. After age 60, your body loses its ability to self-regulate melatonin. Without correcting this shift, sleep becomes fragmented. That's not just frustrating, it's deadly. Poor sleep has now been directly linked to higher risks of dementia, falls, and even immune failure during flu season. And we haven't even touched on chronic loneliness, which the World Health Organization now ranks as a growing global epidemic. Its effects on mortality? Comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It's not the dramatic things that kill us after 70. It's the small, daily erosions. In this video, we're exposing 5 unexpected reasons older adults struggle to live past 80. These aren't the typical culprits you've heard 100 times. These are subtle, under-discussed factors that continue to quietly shave years off your life expectancy, even if you feel fine. Each of these 5 reasons is backed by science, and more importantly, each one can be reversed with the right awareness and action. One of them, it's something you likely do every morning, thinking it helps your heart. But studies now suggest it may double your risk of metabolic syndrome after 65. And before we continue, I want to ask you something important. Have you subscribed to this channel yet? I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 5. Unexpected reasons most older people struggle to live past 80. Number 1. Morning fasting without protein. The silent trigger for muscle loss and blood sugar instability. It sounds harmless, even smart. Many older adults now skip breakfast, influenced by the rise of intermittent fasting. A bit of black coffee in the morning, maybe some tea, and then waiting until noon to eat. It promises better metabolism, fat loss, and even longevity. But what if that habit, especially after 60, is doing more harm than good? Here's what most people don't realize. Intermittent fasting was studied mostly on younger, overweight adults, not older, aging bodies already vulnerable to muscle loss and hormonal shifts. After 60, the body's ability to hold on to muscle, the very tissue that protects balance, metabolism, and strength, begins to decline sharply. The condition is called sarcopenia, and it's not just about weak legs. It's one of the leading predictors of frailty, falls, and premature death. According to a 2021 study in clinical nutrition, older adults who fasted through the morning without eating any protein had 25% lower muscle protein synthesis compared to those who had even a small protein-containing breakfast. Why? Because aging muscles need more stimulation, especially in the morning, to maintain themselves. Skipping that first dose of protein means your muscles go into a longer fasting catabolic state, where your body starts breaking down tissue for energy. And unlike fat loss, muscle loss is dangerous. It leads to slower walking speed, poor coordination, and even blood sugar crashes later in the day. This isn't just about muscles. Fasting without protein also affects insulin sensitivity, which worsens naturally with age. If you're over 60 and fasting through the morning, your body may struggle to manage glucose when you finally eat, leading to blood sugar spikes, brain fog, and energy crashes. It's a hidden roller coaster that many seniors mistake for just part of getting older. Even more disturbing, low morning amino acid intake has been linked to cognitive decline. Amino acids, particularly leucine and tryptophan, are essential for brain chemistry. When your brain doesn't get what it needs in the early hours, neurotransmitter production slows down, mood dips, memory falters, and you start the day in a biological deficit. So what's the fix? You don't have to abandon fasting entirely, but if you're over 60, your fasting window should never come at the expense of morning nourishment, especially high-quality protein. A light protein shake, scrambled eggs, Greek yogurt, or even a piece of fish or tofu can provide enough to stimulate muscle preservation without spiking blood sugar. Start your day with protein. Then, if you want to keep your eating window tight, taper meals later, but never let your aging muscles and brain go hungry when they need fuel the most. This one adjustment can slow aging, protect your balance, and preserve the vitality needed to live beyond 80 with strength, not just survival. Ready to uncover the next hidden threat? Let's move on. Number 2, low-grade inflammation from healthy oils. You've likely heard it for years. Switch from butter to vegetable oil. It's heart healthy, they say. Look for labels that say canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil. They're in nearly every processed food marketed to older adults as a better alternative. But here's the hidden danger. These oils may be quietly stoking a fire inside your body, one you can't see but that can age you from the inside out. It's called chronic low-grade inflammation, and it's one of the least understood but most powerful drivers of aging disease. Unlike the sharp pain of an injury, this inflammation is silent. It lingers in your joints, arteries, and even your brain, day after day, weakening your immune system and accelerating cellular damage. And one of the biggest culprits? Excessive omega-6 fatty acids found in so-called healthy oils. According to a 2020 paper in the Journal of Gerontology Medical Sciences, older adults with elevated omega-6 to omega-3 ratios showed higher markers of systemic inflammation, including C-reactive protein, CRP, and interleukin-6, both associated with heart disease, Alzheimer's, and frailty. These oils don't just promote inflammation. They displace omega-3 fats, the anti-inflammatory heroes found in fatty fish, flaxseed, and walnuts. The ideal omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is around 4:1, but in most Western diets, especially in aging adults consuming packaged foods, it's closer to 21. That imbalance is dangerous. It doesn't stop at your heart. Inflammatory oils have been linked to joint degeneration and increased oxidative stress in the brain. That means more stiffness, more pain, and faster cognitive decline. And because these oils are often used to fry or preserve senior-friendly snacks, ready meals, or salad dressings, they fly under the radar. Even more alarming is what happens at the cellular level. When these oils are heated, such as in cooking, they form lipid oxidation products, compounds that directly damage DNA and cell membranes. For seniors with already weakened defenses, this creates a vicious cycle. More inflammation, more cell damage, more rapid aging. So, how do you fight back? It starts by replacing inflammatory oils with anti-inflammatory fats. Choose extra virgin olive oil for cooking and dressing. It contains oleocanthal, a natural anti-inflammatory compound shown to have effects similar to ibuprofen, without the side effects. You should also reduce reliance on packaged snacks, shelf-stable salad dressings, and store-bought baked goods. These are often loaded with cheap vegetable oils. And most importantly, rebalance your fats. Add omega-3 rich foods like wild salmon, chia seeds, or walnuts daily. If needed, consider a high-quality omega-3 supplement, especially if you rarely eat fish. This one change, cutting out healthy oils and restoring anti-inflammatory balance, can dramatically reduce your risk of disease, improve mobility, and protect your brain. In a world full of invisible enemies, chronic inflammation is one of the deadliest. And it's being fed by your kitchen. Let's now turn to a nighttime habit that may be putting your heart and kidneys at risk without you knowing. Number 3. Nighttime dehydration. The hidden threat to your heart, kidneys, and sleep after 70. It's a common habit. Stop drinking fluids after 6 p.m. to avoid waking up during the night. And on the surface, it makes sense. Nobody wants to be stumbling to the bathroom at 2 a.m. But what if this well-meaning choice is putting your life at risk? As we age, our bodies become less efficient at conserving water. The thirst signal weakens, kidney function declines, and total body water decreases. By the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Now imagine heading into 8 hours of sleep already low on fluids, with no intake until morning. That's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. A study published in 2022 by the National Institutes of Health found that older adults who were chronically underhydrated during the night had a 2-fold increase in the risk of heart failure. Why? Because dehydration thickens the blood, increases sodium concentration, and puts strain on the cardiovascular system during the body's natural overnight repair phase. Your heart isn't supposed to be fighting viscosity while you sleep, but the impact doesn't stop at the heart. Nighttime dehydration also burdens the kidneys, which are already under pressure in older adults. Kidneys need sufficient fluid to filter waste efficiently. Without it, toxins accumulate, blood pressure rises, and the risk of developing chronic kidney disease quietly increases, even if you pass your annual blood work. And then there's the brain. Sleep is when your brain goes through a deep cleaning cycle. Literally, the glymphatic system flushes out amyloid beta, the plaque associated with Alzheimer's disease. But it only works efficiently when the body is hydrated. Without enough fluid, your brain's detox process becomes sluggish. Over time, this contributes to memory decline, foggy mornings, and accelerated neurodegeneration. Most seniors are completely unaware this is happening. Adding to the risk is another hidden effect: poor thermoregulation. Dehydration makes it harder for your body to regulate its internal temperature. You may wake up hot and sweaty, or freezing cold, both signs that your system is struggling. This disrupts deep sleep and increases nighttime awakenings, setting the stage for chronic insomnia and fatigue. So, what's the solution? You don't need to chug water at bedtime, but you do need steady hydration throughout the day, especially in the early evening. Stop guzzling large glasses late at night, but don't shut off fluids entirely after 6 p.m. A small glass of water or an herbal tea around 7:30 or 8 p.m. can help maintain hydration levels through the night. Even better, add a pinch of natural sea salt or an electrolyte tab to your evening drink. This helps your body retain water and avoid that 2 a.m. wake-up from a sudden urge. Another overlooked tip: humidify your bedroom. Dry indoor air, especially during winter or with air conditioning, pulls moisture from your lungs as you sleep. That adds to the dehydration burden. A simple, cool mist humidifier can reduce this effect and protect your overnight fluid balance. This small adjustment can protect your kidneys, your heart, your sleep, and even your brain. And yet most adults over 70 are doing the opposite, drifting off, dehydrated, unaware that they're robbing their body of the resources it needs to repair and survive. Next, we'll uncover a supplement mistake that many older adults make with good intentions, but it might be quietly harming your arteries. Number 4. Calcium supplements without vitamin K2, strengthening bones while hardening arteries. If you're over 60, chances are you've been told to take calcium for your bones, for osteoporosis, to stay strong and avoid fractures. And so, every morning, millions of older adults swallow calcium pills, thinking they're protecting their skeleton. But here's the unsettling truth. Without the right nutritional pairing, that calcium might not be going to your bones at all. It could be depositing into your arteries, joints, and organs, causing more harm than good. Calcium is essential for bone strength, especially after 60 when bone density naturally declines. But calcium is also a mineral that must be directed. It doesn't know where to go on its own. Without guidance, it travels through the bloodstream and, in many cases, it begins to accumulate in soft tissues, especially arterial walls. That's right. The same mineral that strengthens bones can, in the wrong context, stiffen your arteries and increase your risk of heart disease. This isn't speculation. It's backed by data. A landmark study published in the British Medical Journal in 2019 tracked older adults who took calcium supplements without other cofactors. The result? Those who supplemented with calcium alone had a 20–30% increased risk of heart attack compared to those who received calcium through diet or in combination with vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is the critical missing piece. It's not the same as K1, which helps with blood clotting. K2, especially the MK7 form, activates proteins that direct calcium into bones and teeth and away from arteries and organs. Without vitamin K2, a protein called osteocalcin remains inactive. Calcium doesn't bind effectively to bone. Another protein, matrix glycoprotein, MGP, also remains inactive, so it fails to stop calcium from sticking to artery walls. Over time, this leads to vascular calcification, a silent but deadly process linked to strokes, heart failure, and reduced organ function. And here's the dangerous irony. Many seniors increase their calcium intake precisely because of osteoporosis concerns, unaware that they're trading brittle bones for a hard. So, what should you do? First, never supplement calcium alone, especially if you're over 60. Look for a supplement that combines calcium with vitamin K2, MK7, and vitamin D3. These three work synergistically. D3 improves calcium absorption, K2 ensures it gets deposited correctly, and calcium provides the raw material. Second, consider getting more calcium from food. Leafy greens like kale and bok choy, canned fish with bones like sardines, and fermented dairy products contain calcium in a more natural, absorbable form, often with small amounts of K2 included. And finally, if you've been supplementing for years, it may be worth speaking to your doctor about a coronary artery calcium CAC scan. This non-invasive test can assess if calcification has already begun. Your goal isn't just strong bones, it's healthy arteries, flexible joints, and a body that thrives, not calcifies with age. Next, we turn to a risk factor that isn't nutritional at all, but it may be just as deadly, and it's something too many older adults dismiss as unimportant. Number 5. social isolation, and cognitive shrinkage. The invisible illness, more dangerous than smoking. You can eat well, take your supplements, walk daily, and still, silently, your health may be unraveling because of something no blood test can easily detect. It's not a virus, not inflammation, not a nutritional deficiency. It's loneliness. And for many adults over 70, it's the most powerful and most ignored risk factor of all. The World Health Organization recently declared loneliness a global public health threat, calling it a silent epidemic among aging populations. But this isn't just about emotional suffering. Chronic social isolation triggers profound biological changes that can literally shrink your brain, age your heart, and shorten your life. A massive 2023 meta-analysis published in Nature Human Behavior found that chronic loneliness increased the risk of early death by up to 45%, adding to the mortality impact equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Why is it so deadly? Because humans are wired for connection. When we lose consistent, meaningful interactions, the brain interprets that isolation as a threat. Activating the stress response system, cortisol rises, inflammatory pathways activate, sleep becomes fragmented, and immune defenses weaken. Over time, this leads to an accelerated breakdown of body systems, especially in older adults whose resilience is already declining. Most disturbing is the effect on the brain itself. Neuroimaging studies from Harvard and UCLA show that socially isolated seniors have significantly reduced gray matter in regions responsible for memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation. These changes often precede and predict the onset of dementia. In fact, loneliness has now been labeled a major modifiable risk factor for Alzheimer's disease by the Alzheimer's Association. But here's the insidious part. Loneliness doesn't always look like despair. Many older adults say they're fine. They live alone, but they're not visibly depressed. They keep busy, watch TV, maybe chat on the phone. And yet, the absence of in-person, emotionally connected engagement creates an invisible vacuum, one that erodes cognition slowly, silently. Even worse, seniors often stop trying. As friends move away, pass on, or lose mobility, the social circle shrinks, and without intentional effort, it doesn't grow back. So how can you protect yourself? First, recognize that social interaction is not optional after 70. It's medicine. Just like exercise or nutrition, it must be scheduled, prioritized, and diversified. Aim for at least 3 meaningful social interactions per week. These don't have to be deep conversations, they just need to be real. Join a walking group, take part in community events, attend a faith group or volunteering activity. Use technology not just for scrolling, but for video calls, book clubs, or learning circles that offer shared experience. And if mobility is a barrier, don't wait. Ask family or caregivers to help create a routine that includes interaction. Because once isolation sets in, reversing its damage is far harder than preventing it. The science is clear. Even with perfect diet, exercise, and medical care, chronic loneliness will shorten your life, quietly, without symptoms, until it's too late. And now that we've uncovered the 5 hidden reasons so many adults fail to make it past 80, let's bring it all together and talk about what to do next. Now you know. The biggest threats to life after 80 aren't always found in hospital charts or medical emergencies. They're the small, daily patterns, the forgotten routines, the misunderstood health tips, the quiet deficiencies that slowly chip away at your resilience. Let's recap. You learned that fasting without morning protein can accelerate muscle loss and destabilize blood sugar, putting your strength and brain at risk. You saw how common vegetable oils, labeled as heart-healthy, may instead inflame your arteries and quietly fuel disease from the inside out. You discovered that nighttime dehydration, so often brushed aside, can damage your kidneys, disrupt your sleep, and double your risk of heart failure. You were warned that calcium supplements without vitamin K2 could be calcifying your arteries, not strengthening your bones, undoing the very benefits you hoped for. And finally, you were shown how chronic loneliness, even without sadness, can shrink your brain, weaken your immunity, and carry a mortality risk worse than obesity or cigarettes. These are not guesses. They are evidence-based, preventable, and urgently under-discussed. And perhaps the most important truth? It's not too late. Each of these 5 threats can be reversed, or at least dramatically reduced, if you take action today. But ignoring them? That has a cost. And for many adults, that cost comes not in pain, but in the quiet, early ending of years that should have been full of life. So now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 surprised you the most? Was it something you're already doing, or something you didn't even know was harmful? Leave a comment below right now. Comment 1 if you feel better informed. Comment 0 if you think we can improve this content. Your voice matters. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. If you're over 60 or caring for someone who is, this is your trusted place for life-saving, science-backed health insights. Hit the bell icon, because the next video might be the one that protects your brain, your heart, or even adds years to your life. This isn't about fear. It's about freedom through awareness. Stay informed, stay connected, and stay well.